What's up, Dice Crew? Keeping it a Benji, and I'm getting back with y'all. Now, first off, shout out to the Dice Crew. And second, shout out to the sponsors, the Re-Up. I'm going to have a link in the description so y'all can tune in with them. Go ahead and check them out. You never know what you could re-up with. Now, moving forward to the topic, we got Rick Ross, the Freeway Rick Ross, I should say, not the rapper. You know, the one that's based out of Los Angeles. I'm sure y'all familiar with him. If not, I'm sure you probably get familiar with him right now. But he's sitting down with Joe Rogan, and he discussing like certain key moments of his background, and he's also speaking on Jay-Z. So let's tune in and see what they got to say. I'm going to keep it a Benji for y'all doing a reaction. Y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. Let's rock.
You think actually know the story, the whole story, the real story, your story of you and this guy who calls himself Rick Ross?
I think older people know, but younger people don't. They don't get it.
Wow.
They're not educated on facts. You know, they don't go with facts. They go with what they hear on the radio, what their local DJ talks about. Those are the things that they go with, and we already know that the local DJ is getting paid by the record companies. So that's what they believe. I believe that they really believe that Jay-Z got rich selling drugs. You know, they believe that. I don't believe Jay-Z got rich selling drugs. You know, he doesn't act like a drug dealer, in my personal opinion.
What's the difference doing with the way he acts?
Well, drug dealers are kind of like, we're looking for somebody to help come up. Because when you help him come up, you come up. You know, say for instance, if I find a guy, he's down on his luck, and I give him a kilo, and he starts to sell this kilo, I benefit every time he sells that kilo because I get a percentage of what he does. But the way the record business works is they don't help anybody. You know, when they get on top, they just stay there, and it's almost like they're gatekeepers. You know, they don't want other people to get in.
Now, you know, that was a good question by Joe Rogan, saying, like, point out the differences, because I'm not really sure myself on how Jay-Z, like, would be able to act like a drug dealer, especially, I mean, if he was, like, making some type of successful profit off of drug dealing. That would be, like, by now, that got to be, like, 20 years ago. So I don't know how we could be able to, like, really determine the two, especially unless you directly involved with Jay-Z past and you know him back then you can kind of know the difference, you know. But I know it's a quote. Well, I ain't gonna say quote because I don't know how to word it directly exactly what Memphis Bleak said. But he said it was a time to where Jay-Z was having drawers full of money. You know, I think he said that on Drink Traps, right? Again, I'm not saying what's wrong. I mean, I'm not saying what's right or what's the truth or not. But I'm just pointing out certain different things. And, I mean, it's a good topic. It's a different type of conversation. But we got to continue to see where Rick Ross is going with this.
I would have been looking for somebody like me getting out of jail. Oh, Rick Ross is getting out of jail? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be at the gate when he get out. I'm going to show him everything he's supposed to do, get him right, because I know he has the discipline. He has the focus that he's going to make it.
Yeah, but don't you think that that's just you? I think you have a unique perspective.
But that's a drug dealer's perspective.
Is it really? A successful drug dealer's perspective.
A successful drug dealer's perspective. Let me correct that.
And, you know, I think Jay-Z, far as just being a hustler, I think he done definitely put a lot of people in position to, you know, the opportunity to whether they gonna make it or not. Whatever they did with that opportunity, that's on them. And, you know, you got the choice when you engage with a person and make any type of commitment or agreement business-wise. You know, you can always read things. You can always have lawyers. You can always do things like that. So if somebody was able to get, like, tricked or, you know, effed over, I mean, a lot of that would have to fall in on them themselves. I'm not saying that that's what took place, but I'm just pointing that out. And I also feel like, I think it's people that definitely give Jay-Z flowers for helping them become who they have became in life. So I think that kind of go hand in hand with what Rick Ross is saying. Y'all got to let me know, Dice Crew.
The drug dealers I was around was successful. Because I used to try to teach them. I taught them what I did, when they was young.
And, I have to insert that my belief about it would be that, yeah, it is people that's probably want to sell drugs and going to sell drugs the rest of their life. But I also feel like for a lot of people, the main goal is to get out of that game, and they only probably fell into that game because they didn't have no other opportunities and didn't know nothing else. And once other gates opened up for them, they became that. You know what I mean? Because, from my understanding, Jay-Z is kind of like a billionaire. And he been in the game for like 20 years, probably over than that. And he's not really ducking no type of real problems. He's not ducking law enforcement. He's not having no shoot 'em up, bang bang type of situations. So I feel like that's like a way better win as opposed to trying to be a drug dealer. That's just my opinion.
Hey, this is what you do. This is how you do it. This is who you look for. And so you're probably right, a successful drug dealer's perspective. And most successful drug dealers go to prison. And so we know Jay-Z didn't go to prison, even though he was in a car with, I think, Calvin Klein. When he got arrested, DA let Jay-Z go. That's the story that I heard. I'm not totally sure how.
He was in a car with Calvin Klein? Were they talking about jeans? What are they doing?
No, there's a guy named Calvin Klein that was
different guy
from New York.
Oh, and no. Calvin Klein a drug dealer?
He was a drug dealer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a drug dealer from New York.
I thought you mean like
the G's. You thought the G guy.
Klein's, yeah.
No. This was a drug dealer out of New York.
That's hilarious.
And he got arrested.
He took Calvin Klein's name. Like Rick Ross took your name? Unless his name was really Calvin Klein. That's possible.
No, I think the guy's real name was Calvin Klein.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that's his real name.
I think that was really his name. Because he was a real street guy. Went to prison and the whole 9 yards. But it's a story that talks about that, how Jay-Z was in the car with him when he got arrested. And, he didn't get arrested. So more than...
I don't know what Rick Ross is bringing that up for. And I'm not trying to put like no words in his mouth, because he's not saying nothing more or less than what he's actually saying. But I think he's definitely trying to like hint at something or point out certain things, and or just raise like some type of question about that situation.
Likely that meant that in my experience, if you're in a car with a drug dealer and the cops raid, they take everybody that was involved. So that tells me that Jay-Z wasn't involved with.
Well, I look at it like this, right? If you involved in the form of like, just like a regular type of like, how can I say it? Like not so much of like a investigation type of raid, then I can I could kind of see like people getting let go because, no, let me word that the right way. Like if a raid take place, the police do all kind of things. They give everybody a title and give everybody a job. They'll say this person count money, this person washes the door, this person's the security, this person's this, that, and the third. They just got a lot of, titles they'll throw on people. But I feel like if you are part of a real investigation type thing where they've been watching you for 6 months, years, whatever, then it can be possible that Jay-Z wasn't a part of that investigation, that they was working on a dude, Calvin Klein. So when they finally got with Calvin Klein, Jay-Z really didn't have nothing to do with anything because their target is their target. But, it is a weird twist situation. I don't want to make it seem like I know more about those scenarios more than Rick Ross. He's a legend in that type of situation, in that type of playing field. So we just got to keep listening and see what he's trying to say. But I'm just putting out some of the things that I am aware about. So I know that is kind of tricky though, but let's continue.
That activity.
Got it. At least at that time.
That they knew.
Right.
And usually the DA, they watch you, and some of them when they're not lazy.
But what is it like in the world? Like, if you rap about selling drugs and about how you were selling drugs, but you weren't selling drugs, that can't be looked upon well. If you're lying and you're making up a fake persona.
It shouldn't be.
Right.
It shouldn't be. Back, in the 90s when rap was supposed to be authentic, people wrote their own lyrics and
right.
and that stuff, it was a little different than the way it is right now. Now, people can write your lyrics, you can steal people's names, you can steal their verses. It's just totally different than the way it used to be. You can buy your way to the top now.
What I would like to say about that is I think things took a turn from just being like regular hip-hop and reality rap, or speaking about the things that's going on outside your house, in your hallway, in your projects, whatever you might be experiencing in your life, right? To where it became more of the show business and the entertainment world. So a lot of these things have changed, and that's just how I would kind of sum it up on what really changed.
You don't have to have talent necessarily. The most talented guys are not the guys who are running the industry.
A lot of the talented guys are producers too, right? They can kind of make anybody famous.
Yeah.
If you have some talent and a look,
and you go pay the right producer.
There's a lot of examples.
Because music is programming.
Right.
You hear the sound and you like that sound, and that's why we hear the same sounds over and over on the radio, because it's the same producers that are producing the music. Like, I'm just waiting to get my money right so I can go to the producers and be like, hey, I know you want been putting all these guys on. I got a guy for you. Put him on. We ready. How much you need? 100,000. Do it. Because that's really what it is. It's only a few guys who music you hear on the radio over and over again.
Wow. But then you have people who just stand out just because of talent still. You still have that.
Once in a while, want to break.
Yeah, I agree with what Rick Ross just said and what Joe Rogan just said.
You get somebody that's like super, super good and their music just break through, but that's rare. They still got to have some money. You gotta pay Facebook and TikTok.
Gatekeepers.
And
there's a lot. It's an industry, right? There's a lot of money involved. As soon as there's a lot of money involved, there's control. People want to maintain control of that. They don't want someone coming along